I guess I'm on now. This is Fred's Place. I haven't been on my channel in since last year, when I wasn't into the NBA playoffs and championship. I just wasn't feeling it last year. I haven't been on my channel in a while. Haven't been motivated. But today, of all days, I got motivated again. And this is going to be cut and unraw. I don't give a fuck about YouTube red flagging me, whatever the case may be, because I know Google runs this shit. So I'm going to say what's on my mind about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars game in the conference divisional playoffs earlier today. I waited to go ahead and rant and rave about the game because I wanted to hear a little bit about the NFL Network and a little bit of ESPN and, some people's feedback on the game. And it's interesting to me, and by the way, if you don't know who won and who lost, Steelers lost at home. I don't really care about the score, but they lost, I think it was 45-42. That's neither here nor there. They still lost. But the point I want to go back on is that it's interesting how these NFL Network retired football players and hosts and all that stuff, they don't never criticize the Pittsburgh, not quarterback, but the coach. And that's Tomlin. And maybe they have. I know the local channels probably do in Pittsburgh. I know probably the news channels and all that stuff. They probably criticize them, and I'm probably sure, social media as a whole, like Instagram and Facebook and all these other outlets, they probably say some mean and vicious stuff, quote unquote. But I never hear these main outlets like NFL Network, ESPN, et cetera, say anything negative about this man. And I don't know if it's stated in his contract or for slander or whatever the case, but I'm going to say what's on my mind about the coaching staff of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this has been going off and on. And it's just not today the way I've been feeling about their coaching staff, in particular the head coach. I've been feeling like this for years. Ever since they went and played the Green Bay Packers in their last Super Bowl appearance and they lost. This man, he's an average coach. He's nothing spectacular. He's not Belichick. He's not some of the other coaches in the league. He's just an average or above average coach. Now, they got on my man Terry Bradshaw that used to be the quarterback of the Steelers back in the day. Most of you people probably don't even know him, so Google him. Wikipedia him, YouTube him. He used to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the glory days of the Steelers. But anyway, he said something last year that everybody got all upset about, that he said this coach is a rah-rah coach. He's a motivational speaker coach. He is not a typical X's and O coach. Year after year, this man, Terry Bradshaw, that said this, is coming to light. Now, they jumped on this man because he spoke what was in his heart. He spoke because he see what he sees, but other people tend to want to put on blinders and only want to see what they want to see. Now, I'm listening to Dion and Tomlin and the other guy, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, on NFL Network. Nothing negative about the coach. Nothing. They gonna jump on Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They gonna jump on him just because he said a few sentences saying that he didn't make the calls. He's not the final person that makes the calls. It comes from the sideline. So they gonna jump on Ben and say just because he made that statement, oh, you putting the coach under the bus and all this stuff. He didn't name no names. It's obvious who he's talking about. It could be Tomlin that he was talking about and not Haley, the offensive coordinator. But I progress. It's the point that I don't understand why they don't never have any negativity towards this coach. I don't know if it's, like I said earlier, maybe it's stated in the contract, if you say something negative, you get sued for slander, or whatever the case. But this man cannot coach. I'm sorry. I don't care what his ethnic background is. He still can't coach. Now, some people might say, well, what does that got to do with it? It has a lot to do with it. Now, Cincinnati has the same issue. They didn't have a coach for over a decade, and he's not a good coach either. When the last time the Cincinnati Bengals have been in the fucking championship, or a Super Bowl contender, or even in the Super Bowl, since the 49ers? So I'm like, I don't understand about these owners that won't do anything to get rid of this man. They need to get rid of Tomlin. They need to get rid of Tom Haley. I don't know if it's his first name, but Haley. They need to get rid of him as the offensive coordinator. They need to get rid of the defensive coordinator. They need to basically clean house as far as the coaching staff go, because they're going to continue to go through the same process that they've been always going through the past decade. They're going to get to a certain point, and then they're going to fade out, and they're going to get blowed out just like a candle. Every time they get to a certain point, I don't care how many wins and losses this man Tomlin has done, because they're going to put that in your face and say, oh, he's won so many games. You know, he's on top of the list as far as coaches go in the last so many years in the NFL and regular season. But I'm like Janet Jackson's song used to say, what have you done for me lately? He hasn't done shit for the Steelers lately. And I'm just getting sick and tired of it. I get sick and tired every year. There's excuses for this man. And every year you get to see, every other year, it's the New England Patriots. It's everybody else but the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm getting tired of people putting them up there in the preseason, right? Oh, they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. They're going to do this. They have the powerhouse offense. They're unstoppable offensive-wise and stuff. They defense, you know, they patched up, but they can still manage to get to the Super Bowl. I'm tired of hearing all that. You know, and I've been a Steeler fan since I was a little kid, since when the Steelers were the Steelers back in the 70s, when they were whooping ass and taking names last. You know, the Steelers, everything has evolved to today's game, which is bullshit in itself, but I'm not going to go into, that's another story for another day. But it's sad. Sorry about that. I kind of lost, kind of let my phone drift down a little bit, but I'm just tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing these other teams, and in particular, see the Steelers go to the playoffs and always get bumped out. So eventually, you got to start taking responsibility, and I mean the coaching staff needs to take responsibility. The owners, in particular, need to start being to the point where they got to say, okay, we got to clean house. We got to make some decisions for the future of the team. Ben is not going to be playing much longer. They need to address that. They can't keep avoiding that and playing smoke and mirrors on that situation. They need to address the defense. You know, Shazier got hurt. You know, God bless him, not rest his soul, but God bless him. I hope, he recovers. He might not be able to play any more football for the rest of his life, but, other things are more important. But you can't focus on him. They kept emphasizing, we know he's an important part of the defense, but when he was there, they still was making mistakes. So that's no excuse. They need to address the cornerbacks, the safeties. They need to address that stuff. For years, they've been having issues, and they still do a patch job on the situation. Yeah, they're ranked in the top 10 defensive-wise and all that stuff, but when it counts, they never perform like they used to back in the day. They just going to have to make some changes, or they're going to continue to fall in the same bullshit excuses every year and have the same results. It doesn't make any sense. You the second seed, all you got to do is win one game at least to get to the championship this year, and and you regress. You go backwards. At least last year you did get to the championship. This year they didn't even get to the championship. And you had a home game. You was the second seed overall. And you still fuck up. So you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you don't hear Belichick saying, well, our personnel, we can only do so much with our personnel. We can only play this type of defense because of our personnel. That's a fucking cop-out. If they can manage to do what they do, if other players, other teams, other coaches with their team can manage to do what they do and be successful, why can't the Pittsburgh Steelers do it? It's no excuse, and I'm tired of hearing excuses for Tomlin. I'm tired of hearing excuses for all these other folks that they have on their staff. If it has to be, it has to be. Get rid of him. He's done what he's done over the past 10 years plus. That's great. You went to 2 Super Bowls. You won 1 out of 2. That's beautiful. You done won so many games during regular season. That's fantastic. But for me, what counts the most is those rings. What counts the most is going to them Super Bowls. You could be a below 500 team as long as you make to the Super Bowl and win some. To me, it's all just talk. It's all just statistics. All that shit fades after a while. People talk about, just like with Michael Jordan basketball team. You had teams before Chicago that won championships, particularly the Boston Celtics, et cetera, et cetera. But who they talk about first? Chicago. Who they talk about with Chicago? Michael Jordan. How many rings he won? 6 rings. They don't talk about nothing else. They talk about them rings that he... And then you got other players in the NBA that's accumulated more rings than that. But who they talk about first? So it's like you have to keep the legacy and the dynasty going, and you got to keep it going on a consistent basis. That I don't see that. It's like a roller coaster ride with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they take their fans along all the fucking time, every fucking year. And it doesn't make any sense. You either going to be one or the other. You either going to rebuild and be a mediocre team for a few years and then become a powerhouse, or you going to be a powerhouse consistently and come up with some Super Bowl wins, at least some Super Bowl appearances. And stop saying, well, next year, or, we just got outplayed, or I'm getting tired of the fucking excuses all the fucking time. So my solution to this problem, and I'm going to continue to rant and rave, uncut, I'm going to tell the whole world that they need to get rid of that coach, Mr. Tomlin. Get rid of that motherfucker. Get rid of that motherfucking offensive coordinator. Get rid of that motherfucking defensive coordinator and start rebuilding where you need to rebuild at. Because you're going to continue to go through this roller coaster ride with this football team. And by the way, if the organization is listening, them people that own the Rooney family or whoever owns them, please pay Le'Veon Bell. Give that man his money. Stop putting him on the fucking finance. What is that shit? That finance tag or whatever, that franchise tag. Yeah, that's the shit they call it. Franchise tag shit. What is the problem with paying this man some money to keep him happy? You paid Ben all that goddamn money. You paid my man Brown all that goddamn money. What's the issue about paying Le'Veon Bell his money? Because he's like over 60% of the offense. So pay the man his money. Give him his just dues. But anyway, I'm getting tired of talking about the Steelers. They bite the dust again as usual. I will be a loyal Pittsburgh Steelers fan to the day I die. Been a Steelers fan since I've been a little kid. And I'm an old ass man right now, but they got to make changes. They don't make no fucking changes. It's going to be the same shit every year. They're going to fall short. Somebody else is going to win because eventually New England's dynasty is going to fall too. Because Brady, I know he done made, I ain't going to say that, but, Captain America, he going to play until he about 43 or 45, so he say. You know, maybe they didn't maybe he made a bargain with the devil or something. I don't know, but this man is going on. But again, like I say, it's not Brady so much. It's the system. It's the organization of the New England Patriots. I give all the praise, even though I don't like New England. I give all the praise to their coaching staff and their coach in particular, because this man started coaching. I don't know if I'm telling the facts here, but I remember they were saying a while back that when he started, he was coaching the Cleveland Browns and they were terrible. Don't nobody remember that because this man didn't erased all that stuff with everybody thinking about that time. And now he's a genius. So he had his ups and downs in coaching too, but the man can coach. And reality is reality and proof is proof. And facts are facts. So please, if anybody in the organization, if they get a chance to hear this, I know I ain't nobody, I'm a peon, I'm just somebody just, ranting and raving on YouTube, on my channel. But please, take in consideration, you're going to have to start making changes. And I'm not talking about your players, I'm talking about your personnel, your coaching staff, because you're going to fall short all the fucking time every year, and you're going to disappoint these loyal Pittsburgh Steelers fans that grit it out with this team year in and year out. That's all I got to say. Get rid of Tomlin, get rid of Haley, get rid of the defensive coordinator, some of them other folks, and maybe we'll make a change in the next few years, and maybe we'll progress beyond the championship and win a 7th title to put over there in that trophy case where they have the other 6. This is Fred's Place. I'm tired of ranting. This is uncut. If YouTube red flag me, so be it. But I had to say what I had to say. This shit has been boiling on my mind. I had to get it out. I got it out. It's over with. Another year wasted. Good luck next year to the Steelers. I ain't looking at no AFC championship. I don't give a fuck about neither one of them teams because we all know who's going to win. So that's that. Good night. Peace out. This is Fred's Place.